Hey fellow residents of Bandadia, it is another Tuesday and I'm Safa12 and I got some stories for you. You see, the theme this week is telling a great injury story. I've never broken any bones, so this week I gotta get a little creative. That said, I have some really interesting scar stories, so I'm gonna tell you guys with 3 examples, stories on how to get really cool looking scars to, impress the ladies. Tell some stories when you're hanging out with the bros. I don't know why you got scars. I don't know how you got scars, but you know what? Scars! Because of the Lion King. Anyways, story number 1. There's this one time when I was in grade, 7 or 8, and I'm biking over to a friend's place to play Risk. You will notice the irony of that statement in a little bit. So, I was biking over to my buddy's place to play Risk, pedaling away. I could be a bit of a dumb kid. I wasn't a stupid kid, but I had my dumb moments. So, I was just riding along, and I tried to stand up and no hands or something. And I slipped and fell, slid along the gravel like a boss. And then I got up and I'm like, ow. Cause pain hurts. So I'm looking all up and down and my entire left side's all scratched to crap. And I'm like, what's my mom gonna think, man? Mom gonna think. So, and my right wrist was also horribly sprained. It's the only time that I've ever sprained my wrist in my life. But I'm hurting. So luckily it was just around the corner from my house and I limped my bike back to the house as well as a broken child could. My mom cleaned me right up, got me all band-aided, and I went back to my friend's place and played Risk. Story number 2. I've got a little sister that I love very dearly. My sister is awesome because little sisters, by definition, are awesome. There was one winter, when I was shoveling the driveway. You know what those big kind of scoop shovels that are really difficult to maneuver, but they get a lot of snow? One of those. So I finished shoveling the driveway, but there's the little ridges in between shovel lines. Hey Sarah, come here, sit in the scoop and I'll give you a ride to flatten all the lines so it'll be cool and save me a whole lot of work that I don't want to do. Okay. So she said yes. And then she sat down and she warned me that there was an ice patch. And I'm like, don't even worry about it, I'll be okay. So, going around, pushing my sister, giving her a ride in the driveway on the scoop shovel. Then what do I know? Slip on a patch of ice, whack my knee, and I just feel like laying on the ground for a little bit because I don't want to move. So I'm laying there on the ground. I don't know what to do because I'm not really in a whole lot of pain. I just don't feel like moving because I'm like, well, that was silly of me, now wasn't it? And I put my head up. Because when you're lying down and you just kind of tilt your head up a bit? Yeah, I did that thing. And I noticed on the knee of my pants that I was wearing, there was a hole this big. It was huge. And then I noticed a little bit of red around the very horribly frayed edges of that hole. And I'm like, well, that's a little awkward now, isn't it? So I look up and I'm like, oh, wow. There's a giant scar. I'm like, oh, wow. So I went inside and my mom came to the rescue again. Fixed me up and there was the peroxide. My leg was hanging over the bathtub because it was pretty bad. And I'm just bleeding everywhere and there's zombies and I'm fighting them with knives and punching them in the throat and machetes. Craziness. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. I still have that scar to this day, and it happened more than a decade ago. Because it's a cool looking scar. Story number 3. See, there was this one time I went bowling with my youth group. And I don't know if any of you guys have some crazy youth group stories, but I've got a few, and this is one of them. So I went bowling with my youth group. We were bowling. And there was a guy that was in my youth group that when I was bowling, for the lols, I would just granny shot. I'd granny shot backwards. I'm not that very good of a bowler, so I figured, you know what? If I'm gonna suck anyway, I'm gonna have a good time doing it, dang it. So I did. And I was doing a granny shot. And then this guy in my youth group named JF came up behind me, and we'd agreed that I was gonna granny shot, and then he just granny shot under me, so we get the 2 balls down at once and hopefully hit all the pins and, be kids. Responsible kids. And then I do the 1. Then I do the 2. Because in Canada, we have 5-pin bowling too. All you Americans and people that don't have 5-pin bowling out there. And then I went back for 3. And then JF didn't realize that I was going back for 3. And when I went back, he threw his. This finger got caught in between 2 heavy, hard bowling balls. Kinda hurt. Holy crap. And it got right on the knuckle. And I don't know if you can see it that well because of the lighting and whatever, but there's this little scar right here. From that, there was a centimeter long when it happened. And it went through all of my skin. And it was bleeding and I almost passed out. But man, That's a cool looking scar. So I get to be like, hey, how'd you hurt yourself when you were a kid? Well, let me show you. Because it's funny. And I'm here to entertain you people. And that, all of my fellow residents in Bandadia, is how to get cool looking scars. By me, Safa12. Please come back tomorrow to watch Simplyation and Thursday to watch Extreme Boredom and how they will tell you all of their interesting injury stories. And please subscribe and like to see more Band-Aid action. Because we're helping end World Soccer one video at a time. Peace. Yeah. Bam. Yeah.